Welcome to Let's Talk Money, Honey, the podcast where we break down the barriers to financial success.
I'm Elise Levy here with Holly Henry, and we're your hosts, two financial advisors on a mission to demystify investing, unravel the complexities of money, and sprinkle a little wisdom into your life.
Whether you're a seasoned investor or just dipping your toes into the world of finance, join us once a month as we discuss how to navigate life's financial twists and turns. Just remember, building wealth and living your best life should be empowering, not intimidating.
So listen up and let's talk money, honey.
Awesome.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk Money, Honey. And I thought it's been a while since we talked about ourselves. We are so good at talking about investing, but I thought really quick, Holly, let's just introduce ourselves again for our newer audience members and maybe give when you became a financial advisor and why. And then I have some fun questions I want to ask us.
Ooh, I didn't know about that
Don't
question.
be scared. Or do be scared.
Okay, so for those of you that may not know me, my name is Holly Henry. I'm from Hatfield, Arkansas, so it's middle of nowhere. Elise, how long have we been a financial advisor? Are we going on? Oh, yes. Okay. We started at the same time. We were in the same program with LPPL Financial, so I'm going to depend on her to remember that. I'm a mother of two kids, Ryan and Ace. A couple of reasons why I actually became a financial advisor. One, I was a small business owner and I still am, and I was getting ate up with taxes. And my financial advisor at the time was like, maybe you should learn this industry because we could probably figure out some ways to help you with your taxes. And you really just need to know more about investing in the financial world. But two, like I love to help people. So it really was just like a good fit. I love being able to be in people's money and fix problems. Like I just feel like I could do that all day. Well, and I do do that a lot.
You do it all day.
I do that now all day.
And those of you who don't know me, I'm Elise Levy, and I'm in Reno, Nevada, which is not Las Vegas. And we're not anywhere close. We're 8 hours away, but people think we're right next door. And why I became a financial advisor. This is really embarrassing to say, but my dad has been a financial advisor for over 40 years now, and I didn't really know what he did for most of my life. I knew that his office was very nice and there was a lot of good snacks and he talked to people. So that was kind of my understanding of it. But when I started to get interested in it, I started shadowing him. And like Holly said, I realized that it's really just helping people understand money. And money is such a big part of our lives, whether we like it or not. And it affects you every day, all day. It affects your relationships, your family, your work. And so it's really a big, important part. And I realized looking at myself and other women I know, there's a really big lack of education when it comes to personal finance and investing with women. And I realized that that's what I'm supposed to do is help other women understand it, because if you know what you're doing and you have the right team behind you, it's such a powerful force that can really change your life for the better.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to talk about our very first introduction into investing and like what your first memory is, Holly, of investing and what your experience was.
Okay, so when I think back to being a kid and I think about my grandfather, he was like the ultimate entrepreneur, like just built up this, and I don't want to call it an empire, but for lack of just words, like this amazing little empire around him. And owned several acres of land, several businesses, but he also had investment accounts. And so he never really told me the importance of investment accounts, but he made sure that I had a little bit of stock in my name. And in fact, I remember one of the first things that I thought it was so cool is that he bought bonds that were tied to my school. And yeah, so I was like, that to me was very intriguing. And then he bought Walmart like very early on. And so he would talk to me just a little bit. So I'm talking probably preteen, teenage years. That was the most of my experience with investing.
So what was like your first experience learning how to save for retirement? And when did that, like, was it at your first job?
It was. And they just basically said, here's the forms, fill it out. And I didn't know. I mean, I thought at the time, I'm too young for this, but they told me to fill it out. So I'm going to fill out the paperwork. And I felt like it was kind of the responsible adult thing to do.
I know, I remember my first job, and I remember this. I made $10 an hour, which for me, I was like, wow. And they
Hmm.
wanted me to contribute 3% of my income, and I was like, I can't afford that.
Right? Those first jobs are hard.
I know, but it
And what
makes
they
such a difference.
it does, and what they don't tell you is really in your teenage and 20s, like that's the time to invest.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think we can both talk about that. I'm like, if only a little birdie had told me to open a Roth IRA when
Yes.
I was working at Starbucks, I really would have appreciated it.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Where was your dad, Elise?
I know.
Like he probably was telling you, but you
Yeah,
probably
but
just
what teenager listens to their dad? Not me.
exactly.
He did, though. Our first kind of experience with investing, I remember I was like 12, I think, and my sister and I were both allowed to pick two stocks that we really believed in, but we had to explain why. And my
Hmm.
two were Jamba Juice and Disney because I loved Jamba Juice and smoothies, and Disney because I was like, they make great movies, they have parks.
Yes. So
And
see,
lo and behold, my Disney stock performed amazingly over the course of my teenage years, and Job Juice did not, because turns out you don't want smoothies in the snow and rain.
so that's I have set my kids down. It was actually speaking of snow days. In the midst of snow days, we couldn't go anywhere, and I'm like, let's talk stocks. And I know that they were absolutely thrilled. My son at this point was 7. My daughter was 11, and he ended up picking out Apple, and she picked out Hershey's.
Wow.
And yeah, yeah. And so we have watched it. This was a year ago. So we've watched it now for a year. And so they just kind of have somewhat of a concept because I will also tell you for Christmas, I set them down and was like, look, I'm going to buy you a few gifts, but I'm going to be putting money into your retirement accounts and your UTMAs. And they like rolled their eyes and were like, well, we really want other stuff. And I'm like, but there will be a day that you thank me.
Exactly. And I actually think you're doing a good job. I think you're making some smart choices, not exciting choices. I'm
Not
sure they
exciting
wanted
choices.
toys.
Yes, yes, and whatever electronic gadget at the time.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for sharing. And I think if anyone has questions about investing, they should reach out to us because there is no question too small. No
Hmm.
question is stupid. We really just want to answer all of your questions that you have. So thanks for listening.
Absolutely.